Yeah, welcome to Television Nigerian, your one-stop station for the best of news, current affairs, and everything that you talk about when you talk about television. News, media, entertainment, and all of that. This is a hotspot for you, and you have found the right program to be on at this particular time of the day, Press Talk. Welcome on board. I am Charles Ibe, and with me today is Daniel Atai.
Yeah, thanks for having me, GM.
Okay, I don't know, in case we've not seen, this is the second day of February.
Yes, sir.
2021. And you know, a lot of things about February is the month of love. For those, for those.
Every day is the month of love.
Yeah, but February is a special, it was a little bit of an argument in the cab this morning. People are already talking about Valentine and preparing for all of that. And I was like, in a COVID-19 situation, so people still talk about Valentine? No, but it's one of those things, you know. Life must go on.
Because they are now in Europe and America.
Yeah.
Where there is no kisses there now.
Even in Nigeria here too, that shouldn't be, because, I mean, the situation, as every day we're recording numbers and numbers of cases, and I think today, yesterday it was announced about 24 thereabout deaths from COVID-19 in just one day in Nigeria. It's a serious situation that people are going through, and most importantly, the presidential task force threatening that they might be forced to go for a total lockdown because Nigerians are not obeying COVID-19.
No, I think it is better to enforce the law than to say they are not obeying. You have to enforce it, then continue the sensitization. The enforcement just began, and we saw what they're doing in Wose yesterday and in other parts of the FCT.
Yes, in Gariki, in the area 10, I think the Mock Plaza was closed down, Wose Market closed down. So, and a lot of people arrested and court-martialed, so to speak.
Yeah, it will serve as deterrent to others who might want to violate the regulations. So it is proper that the proper thing be done. And that will instill discipline into us, because we are very unruly in this part of the world, and we are people that don't obey rules and regulations. So, but once it is properly enforced, and those enforcing it too should also comply with the regulations, then everywhere will be sanitized.
So now it's dawning on Nigerians now that perhaps this is more serious than we really look at it. Because going by the figures, and then by this thing that a lot of Nigerians believe, say, COVID-19 has scam, and there's no COVID-19, and a whole lot of issues around it.
It is not only Nigerians per se, even some high-profile personalities, like, of course, you see the Kogi State Governor, and even Dino Malaye, the former senator, they also said COVID-19 is a scam.
No, not really about COVID. I think they were talking about the vaccine.
No. From the onset, Yaya Bello never believed in the COVID, but Dino believed in the COVID, but said it was caused by some theories. Yeah, you know, the 5G effect and so on. And he warned Nigerian government not to install 5G. If you haven't forgotten. That was what Dino Malai and some those people of his class that believed in the conspiracy theory of Big Gate and China versus US.
And he still keeps talking about not taking vaccines from foreigners. Let it be homegrown.
Yes, homegrown. Like I believe that we should manufacture, we should produce our own vaccine. We have the resources. We also have whatever the raw material or sources that we could use as medicine to produce any kind of vaccine.
And to cap it up, we have one of the best experts in the world. We have the best head brains.
As a matter of fact, you are correct. You are correct. It's just that we are already Africans naturally. We don't believe in ourselves. We also don't believe in what God has given us. You understand? So we always believe that the white brain is superior. Meanwhile, God gave the black man the dominant gene. It is not for nothing. There must be a reason why God did that.
But then why did you not allow them to discover us? Because
You have forgotten
they
what
believe that the whites discovered the blacks.
You saw what transpired between Esau and Jacob.
Yeah.
It's not as if Jacob was wiser or stronger than Esau. He was only smarter.
Smarter. Okay, so the whites are smarter.
They are smarter.
Okay, so we have to up the game. All right, also in the country, we have the APC membership registration and revalidation and drive more members and all of that. And we saw some victories, so to speak, for the reconciliation committee. Was that the Malabuni APC
led Ketika committee?
Yeah, we saw in Zamfara State they reconciled the warring factions, and then Marafa and Co, they are now back and everybody's singing Glory Be. In Oyo State with half stuff. So now it's like
everybody's singing Glory Be. Politics is like that.
Yeah.
People that wants to beef because of politics, they don't know politics. Politics is about interest. You see the interest, it could be regional interest, it could be state interest, it could be federal interest, it could be personal interest, it could be the masses interest. So in all, what comes first is interest. As a matter of fact, it's personal interest that comes first. Then structural interest, the interest of the structure you control in politics. You want to use it as a bargain. And once you are not careful, if you are a leader, you become a public figure, you be careful, one, with your utterances, two, with your engagement, and so on. So reconciliation like this is good for, and it is healthy for party politics in order to build that cohesion.
Especially as 2023 is looming.
Yes.
So APC needs to take back the presidency.
If you see what the lobby that is going on now is all over the news, it is no longer a rumor that the North, they are looking for the candidate, probably trying to drag Gigi into APC.
And then we saw the Yahya Bello movement too.
Yahya Bello now controls the structure of the party in terms of mobilization and integration of youth and women.
And he's doing very well now, because
he's doing very well. He's also eyeing the presidential seat.
Yes, I saw a group from, I think, the lawmakers from Kwara. Kwara State went to declare solidarity.
And he's a young man. He could pull a surprise. So don't forget. And
so what about the four governors and the GJ conspiracy? Is it a conspiracy or is it a reality?
It's a reality. I wrote an article about it on the Nigerian news, which will be published today, and it is part of my spectacle today, that the four governors, other papers were not able to mention
the governors, exactly. I was going to ask.
But the Nigerian news mentioned the four governors. So those of you who want to know the four governors who visited
Good luck, Ebele, Jonathan, because some people don't know the
ex-president Jonathan. You can check on the Nigerian news today. The article is there, or wait for 2 p.m. You watch Spectacle, the documentary will be out, because they did not just visit him for the sake of it to celebrate his birthday. He has been celebrating birthday since 2015 that he bowed out, isn't it? And none of them visited him. So now, the last birthday he was visited and talked to, they are trying to woo him to play the regional interest. And the 2023 interest, haven't seen him as someone who cannot go constitutionally for 2 terms anymore.
Yeah, because you just have to complete the term for. Yes. Do you see that move as being Nigerian? Like, okay, they want to appease this region that had just 4 terms, so that the next region that will come will do their own.
That is why I said that politics is the interest. So that move by the northern political elites, especially of the APC, is a regional move for regional interest. Ordinarily, I would have supported the candidature of the West, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ordinarily, I would also prefer that for integration, national integration and unity, that the Southeast should produce the next president of the country. But judging from the utterances and statements from IPOB and ESN, that they don't want president for their side. They want secession.
Have they really come back again?
Of
to
course,
say
I know.
But they are not they are not the mouthpiece for the Southeast.
You are not.
They are just a fraction. They are just a fraction, and insignificant fraction.
It is not insecurity. Nobody is insignificant.
Really?
Even one man can cause terror of 100 people. So don't ever say insignificant. Okay. As you are sitting down here, you are not insignificant to me. Neither am I to you. So in security operatives and knowledge, nobody is indispensable.
Yeah, because why I mentioned insignificant because now they have been outlawed as long as Nigeria is concerned.
That is IPOB.
There is nothing like IPOB.
IPOB.
Then ESN is not recognized.
ESN could be legislated. I saw their spokesperson talking about the State Assembly should legislate it, pass it into law, just like Amotekun. You understand? So is that regional interest from the Southwest in terms of security infringement,
yeah.
And that from the Southeast too is making the North jittery. The North too have its own palaba. Of course, the Boko Haram and the banditry. You understand? So they are looking for a region probably where they can synergize with for peaceful coexistence at the detriment of sacrifices of some party echelons like Tinubu.
Yeah.
So
and also now what about the because it appears the North now is not a strong, is not a united front as it speaks, because you have the Midwest, the middle belt, and now who is rooting for Yaya Bello,
yes,
so to speak. They didn't really say. I was hearing more of North Central rather than middle belt. In all their so that means they are out of the North calculation right now, because they are not obviously looking for somebody from the South. They are talking about their region.
Yes, over time the middle belt also have been marginalized by the core North. They call them North Central.
But they've produced 2 presidents for this country.
The 2 presidents they produced for the country, you're talking about IBB.
In fact, if you even add Gowon, Gowon is 3. IBB, Gowon, then
but those ones were military dictators.
But they ruled this country.
Democratically, they have not produced, because those ones metamorphosed, like IBB metamorphosed. And
Abdul Salam too.
As a matter of fact, at the North Central, they have not. Anyway, they cannot justify the fact that they've not ruled. They have ruled. They've ruled the country.
So they should come down, let the Southeast or something.
I think the Southeast preferably, but then because of their political calculation, it is the foundation of the political calculation in terms of party affiliation
yeah.
And then loyalty. Is not there. It's not there for anybody to
get that. And then he's expected to be in Abuja today, and by tomorrow he has to be at his desk. Especially Nigerians are interested in who becomes the next IGP. And as you know, it's at is it pleasure or whatever of the
prerogative of the president, but it is also a constitutional matter. Constitutionally, from what we discussed yesterday, statutorily, let's say 3 DG. That is Deputy Inspector General of Police.
Yes.
And I think I wrote it down. And 10 Assistant Inspector General of Police are scheduled to exit the police force as the IGP Muhammadu Adamu bows out. You understand? Supposedly, February 1st, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
And we also have it that 6 of the remaining 19 IGPs will also be retired this year, between March and October.
Compulsorily.
Including those serving as commissioners. Right now, compulsory retirement, because either the Constitution of the Police Reform Act 2020 stipulates that once you hit 35 years, whether you have served, if you have served 35 years, you exit.
Or once you hit 60.
Or once your age becomes 60, you also exit. Either one could happen to you, like in the case of Adamu, who is yet to serve the 35 years compulsorily. I think he hit 60
yeah.
And he have to bow out. But then, we don't know whether the president will use his exclusive authority or power
to extend
his tenure.
But that would be going against the Police Act.
Yes, it will be going against it. So we are waiting for him to.
But if he does that mean the president has the veto power to overrule the Constitution? Does it mean he can, at his own?
No president has the power to overrule the Constitution, except if there is a clause that permits him to doing that. If the clause is there, then he could capitalize on the clause.
So right now, Adamu still stays until the president says so.
Yes, he is still the IGP. He has not tendered his resignation, neither has Mr. President asked him to.
So there is no date,
retire.
like from the presidency, there is no date yet for him. That means he still stays. The whole thing can still hang in limbo for like weeks or months.
Like the presidency said, security is a matter, is a serious matter that one cannot just ordinarily jump into based on ethno-tribal or religious bigotry or sentiment.
Yeah.
You have the level of Inspector General of Police or Assistant Inspector General of Police or Deputy Inspector General of Police should be competent enough to know what security and logistics is all about.
All right, thank you very much. And then let's look a little bit across Nigeria. Uganda, we had the Bobby Wine has gone to court to officially challenge the presidential election that saw the incumbent retain power for the 6th time. So do you really see anything coming out of that?
Well, you see, the Lord of the Sky of Uganda is Museveni.
The Lord of the Sky.
When we were growing up as kids, we were hearing Museveni. Today, I never knew that Museveni is a name until after some time I began to read about Museveni, Paul Biya, Pedro, Teodoro, Obiang of Equatorial Guinea, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, Saddam Hussein of Iraq.
Those are big names.
So many. We started learning about those dictators of the world who metamorphosed from the khaki to the agbada and what have you to the suit. So they are still ruling. I think he would be 36 years on seat now. That is Museveni. That means the whole institutions there are loyal to him. Somebody that even bishops will prophesy that they made a mistake about his age, and they have to that his parents made a mistake about his age, and they
God now revealed the real date.
God revealed the real date to them that it's just to suit the constitutional framework for him to rerun. They amended their constitution twice to make him run and canceled the tenure of of stay in office.
All right, now that you mentioned constitution, it also brings to mind the issue in Myanmar. You know, the military had a coup, took over in Myanmar for a year, and then they said it is
transitional.
They based their action on the state of emergency. They said there is COVID-19, and then of course the leaders were supposed to hold an election, postpone an election that the election was supposed to hold in November, and they couldn't hold, and they are capitalizing on that and saying that is case enough for emergency. And funny enough, or rather, the constitution of that country stipulates that the military can take over in the case of an emergency. And then you find out that it was the constitution they are using is the one drafted by the military. And if you go deeper, you see there are some clauses there that stated that 25% of key positions and even in their parliament should be reserved for the military. So now they are backed by the constitution by their action, and now the whole world is saying no.
No, because you see, they belong to the United Nations organization. Any member country of the United Nations must abide by democratic etiquette. It's compulsory for civilians to rule the country and not military. If military rules, military is only for transition, for democratic dispensation to take place. to take place if there is a state of emergency, like in the case of Myanmar that we are seeing. However, you know, power intoxicates, just like Lord Acton said, absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So, of course, you know that most constitutions of the world, apart from that of the United States and the United Kingdom, were drafted as military fiats.
Even Nigerian constitution.
Yes, that is why the amendment keeps going on to suit democratic dispensations. Like what we have in the country since 1976. Obasanjo came, 79, amended the constitution. 1999, they democratically amended the constitution again. They reviewed
some sections
in 2011 and 2014, and it has not still suit
the democratic
tendencies and etiquette that we ought to see for people to oblige and say this is our constitution.
We, the people of Nigeria.
So in Myanmar, having given 25% slot of military whatever slot for them to benefit in their democratic appointments and so on, it is not enough for them. Don't forget that they have the power. They carry the weapon, and sometimes they don't even care about the norms of the United Nations charters.
Yeah, because when you talk about sovereignty of a nation,
they are the ones to defend the integrity. But if they don't want certain sanctions and to infringe suffering on their people, because sanctions must come from the United Nations.
U.S. is already threatening sanctions.
And then sometimes the caricature sanction that these world powers, you know, give or place, or the embargoes, I could call it, on nations, they still go behind. You see Russia among the NATO countries.
Yes.
You see them trying to also break the pact, exactly, and then go behind, you know, just like I said,
to gain interest,
certain interest.
Yes.
And that is why sometimes it is not even good to trust certain pacts in the United Nations organization if there is no evaluation, strict evaluation and monitoring team. Formally, before, if any country is not in tandem with the United Nations, you know, programs or postulations or the charters that bind democracy, especially in the case of coup, NATO will rise. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, they have their own forces.
Yeah, like today they are going to be holding a Security Council in the United Nations Security Council. So it's expected that there's going to be a debate about this Myanmar issue. So
the
perhaps
interest,
they might be calling on the
How
NATO.
long have you heard about NATO?
It's been quite a while.
How long have they gone to countries to quell issues? Sometimes in Africa, they'll ask Nigeria, the AU, African Union, to go and intervene. We intervene in Libya.
It is even more proper.
We intervene in Niger. We intervene in Liberia. We intervene in what do you call it, in Sierra Leone. We have been intervening
in every way.
So they say what do you call it? They call it ECOMOG. That is
ECOMOG forces.
ECOMOG in the West Africa. And then AU. So they will give them tags. So the NATO themselves, they only supply logistics. Why behind? They are still making pact, making it difficult even for... When Nigeria was fighting in Liberia, to liberate, to enthrone democratic dispensation, you saw the loopholes that even the whole America, US, were given to, who was then, Samuel Doe or some, but the backings, before Charles Taylor came on board and so on. And then Prince Charles, what is that? Prince Johnson.
Johnson.
The whole thing escalated and elongated the war because there was no sincerity in these people that comes to as peacekeepers.
All right.
So Myanmar should revert back to democracy and begin to...
Or rather, we should just, because they said it's for a year, why don't they just let them do their stuff and conduct an election in just 1 year? I'm not saying the military should continue, so nobody should quote me.
They will enjoy power. That 1 year, it will be devastation for the country.
They might be able to pull it together. You never can say.
Except that.
Let's hope for the best.
Although the military works better.
Yeah, in some cases.
Terms of governance.
Because the law and order.
Their own, there is nothing like joke is order.
Yeah.
If they ask you to you know, maybe implement a road contract of
you do it
1,000 kilometers.
Else
they will tell you the exact millimeter, the thickness of that road,
and
the wideness, the things you will use. It must be exactly.
So
you must give 30 years guarantee
for
durability in case of any pothole. You see what democracy is doing to us?
Exactly. And if you find out that there is even less corruption
in the military, once there is corruption, another man takes over, bull you out with the arm of the by the power of the arm.
But we shouldn't be saying let the military come back again.
No, we are just saying that in terms of governance, what they have enacted, what they have done, they did it patriotically, they did it sincerely, transparently, they did it accurately.
But
unlike democracy, where what originally Mr. Charles should do based on your qualification, what you should do based on your sincerity, based on what you can do, your practical orientation. Somebody who affiliated to party, instead of me to give it to you, I'll go and look for one party man and give to him who is a non-entity in that field.
But someone would also argue that we've had people transit from that military into democracy and they've not done better.
Like in the case of Nigeria.
So, but that was
IBB, Obasanjo, and all of them, even Abdul Salam, we can name them. Though Abdul Salam transited power to democracy.
Obasanjo, no, we're not talking about transition, we're talking about ensuring
durability.
that
Obasanjo
when they are in power, it's something like law and order, corruption, and all you have, that is what the military is known for. You understand? But when they become civilian, it appears just a few days of democracy wipes away lots of years of
politicians have a way of making people to compromise.
Even military.
Yes, and you are no longer wearing the khaki now.
But the military soldier always a soldier.
It is not always a soldier because they will take you to rehabilitation. And evaluate you and remove the military brain before you become president. Okay. They will democratically sanitize you.
Yeah.
Remove the military thinking. The order you used to give anyhow, they will remove it from you. I think 6 months or 1 year rehabilitation. They go to rehab.
All right.
Even Buhari went to rehab. All of them went to rehab before the metamorphose, except IBB.
No, IBB never became a civilian president.
He was now. In metamorphose, he was elected from khaki to agbada.
No, he
was a president.
He just changed the title to president. Nobody voted for IBB. Well, that is going to be a discussion for another day. We'll be looking at some issues making rounds in Nigeria and across the globe, as we always do on Press Talk. Now it is time for us to go to the newspapers to see what the headlines the tabloids are bringing on this month. So after this break, join us again. Thanks for staying tuned, and if you're just joining us, this is Press Talk, and we are going straight to the newspapers to find out what they are printing in the front pages, the topics that are making the headlines. And we are starting today with the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper has on its front page a very bold headline there talking about the pandemic. It says the COVID-19 killed 405 Nigerians in 2 months. COVID-19 killed 405 Nigerians in 2 months, coming from the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. So get to the, we have some riders there, 75 doctors infected in 1 week, 57 million vaccine doses to come in batches. Kogi declared high-risk state. Kogi has been declared a high-risk state by the PTF. So what are the reasons for all of this? You have to get to the Nation's newspaper to find out the details of that story. And we have a picture story there, and it's a lot of Nigerians, prominent Nigerians, and good to know that they are wearing face masks. Find out who they are. Pick up a copy of the Nation's newspaper. But below that picture story, we have Oyo communities demand relocation of headers. With the rider, Makinde, state police can curb conflicts. Well, the details of that is on page 34 of the Nation's newspaper. And then you have, above the masthead, presidency, TT's corruption. TT's corruption, let me get that clear. Corruption report indicted Nigerians. Transparency, I think it's Transparency International.
Transparency International's corruption
index. TI is not TT. TI's corruption index, that's the corruption report, it indicted Nigerians. That's what the presidency is saying there. It's not really about the governance, it's about Nigerians. So find out the details on why the presidency is taking that stance. And besides that story, you have Iboho takes anti-killer headsmen battle to Ogun State. Who is this Iboho and what is he doing in Ogun State? And what is he talking about anti-killer headsmen? Please get to page 34 of the Nation's newspaper to find out details, because it's important for you to read, to know, for you to tell. And also behind, just below that masthead here, you have Buhari leads tribute for ex-minister Tony Momo. Yeah, Nigeria lost Tony Momo yesterday. So that's the much we have on the front page of the Nation's newspaper. And of course, don't forget that they have so much written on the inside, the back pages. You need to get to a copy of the Nation's newspaper to know details so that you can be an authority to talk about the issues raised. Now, PTF have spoken again. 405 Nigerians killed in 2 months. And the one that really concerns me most is that they have declared Kogi State a high-risk state. Yeah, could it be based on what the governor's stance?
Yes.
Or is it from situations around? Do we have so many people infected in Kogi State? Or is it just because the governor said he does not believe in this thing? Is it what declaring the whole state a high-risk state?
Well, you see, if you want to hear fact from me, it will not be too palatable. You know, truth hurts. Truth is very hurting. It can hurt, but it is like the sun, like Buddha would say. He said, the only thing you cannot hide for long, the truth, the moon, and the sun. See, these three things, no matter how long you hide them,
no matter how hard you try,
it will come out. Yes, we know that variants of COVID-19 exist. We also know that COVID-19 have come to stay. Even WHO, they've also gone to Wuhan, where they suspected it originated from, to discover what causes the COVID-19. You know,
so they've not really paid attention all this while.
Severally, I have on Spectacle and many programs here, we have been saying, what is the cause of COVID-19? You say it's a pandemic. Pandemic flu, it must have a cause. Where did it come from? Like some preachers are saying, is a punishment to the atrocities of the whites against the African continent, and that is why it's predominantly there.
But that
is mythology.
Yeah.
You understand? So many things. However, like HIV, we have seen another pandemic that the vaccine, thank God, countries who want to say that necessity is the mother of all inventions, they've started producing their vaccines. Africa, we are only counting scores of dead bodies, and we are also waiting for free vaccines and donation. If you read further the pages of the newspaper, Nigeria task force, COVID-19 task force, have already spent or invested 83 billion.
I think there's
the rider is here.
Yeah.
You understand? So, when you look at these issues and the millions, I think we have almost about maybe 100 institutes, different medical institutions for research.
Research, yes.
And if you ask me again, like I have been saying, we have the highest number of professors in the whole world, if not second highest in the whole world. No number of academic professors. And when you talk about medical doctors, virologists, and researchers, Africa, especially Nigeria, we have them. But
well, it goes to say that there's this school of thought that Africans, Nigerians, and all of that, we're all good in theories, but when it comes to practicals, it doesn't really they don't add up. Because we can read books and cram the whole volumes and quote.
That's the way we are speaking English here now. It's
more
not our
than
language.
We speak more than the whites even. So now, does it not?
It is not true that we are good on theory. We are also good.
And of course, somebody said the whites printed a lot of lies, put it in the books for Africans to consume. But when it talks to practicals, they don't. You know, that's why you don't have a lot of them as graduates.
Yes.
You don't have a lot of them as professors and all of that.
They do not.
They don't believe in.
They don't base their academic prowesses on
paper qualification,
on certification.
Certification.
Yes, certification is okay. Let me see your certificate. Good. Defend this certificate.
Practical.
Practice it. That is what the white man wants to see.
And that's why we are not.
That is what the Chinese,
vaccines.
Wants to see. But we can continue to read to the peak, double degrees, PhDs, masters, professorship,
you see professor that have
associate professor,
so many books, and quote,
go to the laboratory to just mix simple acid and base. You can't do it.
So we should start reevaluating our education.
Again, we could also do it because we have seen Nigerian medical doctors doing very fantastically abroad.
So what stops them from doing it here?
It is the system. What do I mean by the system? This institute, when you go, for instance now, the Institute of Virology and Medical Research, you go to the lab, maybe the government will look at it and say, okay, we are putting 20 billion or 300 and something billion into this research. The person the government would want to give that money might be a politician who knows nothing about
it.
You understand? He will be in charge of maybe the research director. And the director will be taking order from him. Whatever the director would want to do, he might not be able to release the fund. So we always put politics ahead of governance.
And also now, don't you think also this fact that maybe perhaps when an African
man gets opportunity, he
wants
to also eat.
Apart from that, maybe when a Nigerian scientist goes to the laboratory and produces something and comes out with it, World Health Organization will come down fast to slam it.
Yeah, the international bureaucracy
because it's coming from
has
an African who is supposed to not to know anything.
But it has not maligned countries like Rwanda. It has not maligned even common Ghana. Ghana started Agbo. Not even the Yorubas.
Well, has it been approved by the World Health Organization? But people are taking it at their own...
Their own, what do you call it, just the way we have NAFDAC here. Their own Federal Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved it for them.
Yeah, our own NAFDAC have been approving some homegrown supplements and stuff that we have.
And even up till now, they are still playing politics about COVID-19 solutions.
Because they have to pander to the world.
When we have all the natural ingredients to producing this vaccine.
We talked about, is it a submarine or a submarine?
A submarine.
We talked about Pax Herbal. We talked about
so many things.
Solutions that
even solutions to HIV. But of course, like you say, international bureaucracy could play down Africa.
So what should Africa do now to rise above that?
Because they have the power of the dollars, they have the power of the pounds, and they have invested into this institution like the World Health. They have also invested into all the United Nations, even the World Bank. They invested, the IMF, they invested much. Ours is to go borrow. We borrow and then we consume. And then when we consume, we go to the toilet. And then tomorrow again, we'll come back to consume. So we are just, I don't know, we believe in self-defeat. We are defeatist. We are not actually optimistic. we are what? Pessimistic.
Okay.
So we believe that it is not possible for us to get out of the hook of the chain of international bureaucracy. But it is possible.
It is possible. It is possible.
At most, Abacha was almost doing it. And of course, any nation, any leader in Africa that wants to do it,
they'll find a way to
eliminate.
Libya
have one of the best medical institutions, tertiary institutions, primary institutions, and secondary institution of health. They have uranium. In fact,
were tending towards self.
They exchange oil with France in order to get uranium to enrich their electricity.
And the world placed sanctions.
They were even borrowing some Western nation fund, which we know. You understand? In exchange for uranium.
Yeah.
So you see, some of the African leaders, I will blame the African Union mostly, who believe that pot belly is big manism. They don't believe that when you have this thing, you have to be independent. You have to find a way to be independent.
You know, the late Bob Marley, he put it in a song when he said,
mental slavery.
Emancipate yourself.
Emancipate yourself.
From
so the African
slavery.
quagmire lies within the Africans. Africans have solutions to everything, from what I have discovered with my young age in this world and what I've discovered about Africa. I believe that we could rule the world tomorrow. The world could depend on us tomorrow. If people...
Civilization started in Africa.
It doesn't matter where it started.
Still on record.
Now it's no longer in Africa.
It's still in Africa.
It is no longer in Africa because the leaders have believed, they have believed in this complexity, this inferiority,
but you can
complexities and so on.
It back.
They have believed that you must borrow money, you must depend on World Bank, you must depend on IMF, you must depend on borrowing. They do not believe that this rock, when you go to Nasarawa State and you are going, maybe traveling to you see a chain of mountains round about Nasarawa, all over the place. African man, the white man will originally want to go and know what is deposited inside there. Why should God create chain of mountains just like that? Or why should a mountain just be like that? In the secret places, there are wealth.
So now
there are wealth in secret places. But people don't, African leaders, we keep, I don't know.
So we can talk about it. We can talk about it. May
God Almighty help us.
We can talk about it.
And I don't think God will help us because we have to help ourselves.
He will. Because we have already started helping ourselves.
God cannot give you everything.
It's a process.
And you say God should still help you.
It's a process. So we are in the process. It's work in progress. We'll get there. But it's had to start with first self-emancipation. And believe in Africa, believe in what we have, and believe that we can do it. Stop running cap in hands to the foreign nations. Let's get to the next newspaper we'll have today. That's the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper is also the major headline they have on that place is talking about still COVID-19, but this time it's narrowing it down to Kogi State. COVID-19, FG declares Kogi State no-go area. FG declares Kogi State
it's still politics.
No-go area. So the Sun is putting it hard like it is. And we have a rider there, tells Nigerians to stay away from the state. Lists Yobe, Jigawa, Zamfara, Kebbi as states not reporting testing. Identifies 22 high-burdened LGAs nationwide. Says country experiences 34% rise in deaths. Edo records 400% increase in cases in 9 weeks. That's not a very good report there.
Don't be surprised.
Is on page 6.
Yes, don't be surprised, Mr. Charles, that this same Kogi that the bureaucracy is trying to tag and paint bad so might even be the first state because of the willingness I see in that governor to bring the vaccine first.
No, but from the expected vaccine.
Of course, he's having alliance with Bigate already.
The Kogi State
because
governor.
He gave some yardsticks to why he says so. That if
what the Bigates just supported, like Nigerians should look
primary health infrastructure,
build institutions rather than investing so much.
Yes,
but that doesn't mean
okay. Have you seen about, it's an alliance. He said there must be a pact.
No, not really.
He will support what the man said.
There's no record or there's no report of Yahaya Bello ever meeting with Bill Gates or even having a conversation.
I didn't say he met him.
So now maybe Bill Gates just saw somebody that made sense and he now re-echoed what he said.
And Bill Gates, don't forget how Bill Gates thinks and how he does his things. The next thing is to have a sitting arrangement with that man, or send funds to the state and say, start what you accused your country.
Okay, so now to start building healthcare.
Yes,
okay,
and infrastructural development.
That would be fine.
Like the politics that the tax forces play, I call it politics. Because even the fund released so far, 83 billion is enough to even discover or research for vaccine and implement. How much have UK spent on vaccine? Let me tell you, if we play politics with this thing, the people that are to kill, people that sow the seed of politics will go by that fruit. That is what I know.
Now we're still on the Daily Sun. Besides the masthead of the Daily Sun, you have Southeast governors ban open grazing. Southeast governors ban open grazing. Governor Umahi backs flushing of criminal elements out of the forest. Page 26 of the Sun newspaper has the details.
I'm tired of talking about it.
Of that story. Now, below the picture story, you have Ibarapa Makinde rolls out measures to tackle rising insecurity. Plans peace security committees at LGAs identify management programs. Well, get to page 27 of the Sun newspaper to get the details. And below there is an in-street headline that said, in a black in-street headline that put it, we won't succumb to blackmail. Ohaneze tells detractors, we won't succumb to blackmail. Who is trying to blackmail Ohaneze? And who are these detractors? Please get to page 8. Hurry to page 8 of the Daily Sun to read that story. And besides the picture story, there also we have ONU, Nigeria needs electronic voting for free, fair elections. Page 23 has the details. Shock greets ex-minister Tony Momo's death. Page 8 has the details. Court shuts FCT markets, UTC and plazas for violation of COVID-19 protocols. With a rider, no one is safe until vaccinations. That's the FG is talking about. No one is safe until the vaccination.
And this vaccination that they are trying to enforce is a borrowed one. Which is
still not the homegrown.
It's still not them that developed or produced the vaccine.
So what do we do?
What a nation, despite the fact that they have the money. So they are waiting for UN's protocol and UN's directive. So UN cannot, a world head cannot make you redundant. You understand? You have to do something yourself and present it. Would they force Madagascar, for instance, to say, look, you must vaccinate all your people?
All right.
When Madagascar say they have their own solution.
Exactly.
So you must.
But the risk is at the risk of declaring Madagascar
that is
a pariah nation if they don't take vaccines. It
is because of this tie. See, the membership.
They are among of the Committee of Nations.
Yes, once we are members of this Committee of Nations, there is problem because they hire predators who want to feast on the lower praise.
Yeah, but
that is the situation.
But we need to exist. We need to cooperate. But bilateral relations.
If the treaties of coexistence does not favor your production as a sovereign nation, why not break out? And even if you cannot break out, because you cannot do trade treaties with certain countries, why not try and give yourself a sigh of relief by producing and making the world to see that, yes,
well, you know that
the media is there.
In that production, you also need input.
No, I don't think even World Health has been able to guard the media over since the inception of COVID-19.
You find out that even in equipment, in technology and all of that, you still need these foreign nations. They can place a ban on technology transfer to your country, and then what will you do? So that is still a problem. We have to look at that. I will talk about emancipation. We also think I think we should be talking about how to peacefully coexist, even in the midst of all these restrictions and all of that. Let's quickly move to the Nigerian Tribune because of time. Nigerian Tribune, we'll just take the headlines there. Reps to begin probe of 83.9 billion COVID-19 funds.
I like that.
The details on page 4 and 5. Now, the rider says how money was disbursed. IGP orders enforcement of face mask use. Lagos boosts case management of loot, and so many other stories written on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. And also, above that masthead, we have Sunday Igboho in Yewa vows to work with Ogun government on headers menace. I think every other story that has been taken care of. Let's go now next to the business day. The business day is our final touch this morning. And the business day has on the front page, Nigeria's low interest rate creates opportunities for these businesses. Which businesses are they talking about? Please, you have to get to the business day to read details of what businesses that low interest rates will create opportunities for. I think the government is offering some interest waivers there for certain businesses. Besides that, you have Nigerian nurses fleeing to UK, hit 4-year high. Wow, that's brain drain. Nigerian nurses leaving this country to go and give their services in UK is hitting a 4-year high. What is the Nigerian government doing? What is the health institution doing? What is our parliament doing about this situation?
Brother, you can see, because if you don't go, you will not be developed. And if you go and come back, they will recognize you. They will even place you high.
Because you've left the shores of the country.
Yes, you've left the shore
of the country. You must have interacted with a higher level of governance, a higher level of
where system works,
systematic
availability of amenities and research institutes were well equipped.
And you find out that most people abroad, when you talk about come home, they find it difficult because when they come here, what the infrastructure they meet,
it is only the patriotic ones that comes home.
Because
they want to come and ensure that they do something at least.
But they can't do something because what they have. Sometimes when you hear a situation where you get to a hospital, you can't even get a standard laboratory. And somebody that has worked in an equipped laboratory abroad, you want him to come and face that kind of situation?
And when they will even carry budget and say, okay, let's invite this person home. Let him come and manage the health. They've done it severally. Or the economy. For instance, they brought Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. All the things that she proffered, was it used? They were never used. Right from OBJ to GEJ and even PMB. Was those solutions she gave to our economy, did any of them use them? It was even PMB that used that list of it before she said she's going back. What about the former health minister, even power minister, and so on? They will bring them like that. They will bring solutions, and then they will say the funding. Even when the fund is available, they will look for one politician, like I said, political party bureaucracy and sentiment, whatever. So it is killing us rather than making us.
Yeah, and we also have the power to. And I think out of all those quagmires, like you always say,
we
can do it
through our voting now. We must begin to elect competent people,
and not just voting. I think it should begin with self-emancipation first, because you don't know who the next person you are voting into. You don't know his own agenda.
My brother,
he might have a personal agenda. When it comes and begins to unfold, people begin to shout, because you remember when everybody was rooting for PMB. It was like, wow, this is a no-nonsense man, a new sheriff is coming to town, everybody has to stand at ease and all of that. But then, when he came on board, we saw something different. So we never can tell who is coming next.
When Buhari came, Buhari was sagaciously ready to enact the Buharism in him.
So what went wrong?
Don't you saw what they did? It was still the cartel. Don't you?
So who are these cartels? Are they not Nigerians?
The madam put it very well. He said the hyenas, the jackals, the lions, and so you understand? That was what she said. But the man still kept quiet, did nothing to these people. You see, that means that there are certain cabal
that will have to handle.
Need to die in this country.
No, they don't have to die.
No. Wait. Forget my choice of word. You understand? That need
to repent.
And
let Nigeria
to turn over a new leaf before liberation could take place in the country.
All right. And liberation
is a big factor. Because like yesterday we were saying that common electricity in 60 years, how many heads of states, how many presidents have not been able to fix it?
Our refineries have not been fixed a long
time for over 4 decades.
Because some people are benefiting. It's profiteering.
And these guys that are benefiting, they believe that they have the international ties.
And they're also in government too. Don't forget that.
They even make the government.
That is the issue.
They make who? They are the godfathers.
They are the kingmakers.
And the kingmakers, the stakeholders. And these stakeholders, they become so gullible, so bigot. I don't know the word to use in describing it, the adjective to use, that they forgot that nationalism, patriotism,
it's key.
Is key to nation building. And independency is the watchdog. No matter how big you are in US and in UK, if your home in Africa is still depending on economies, world powers economy, you are still a slave.
Yeah,
you are a modern slave.
Charity begins.
They will be laughing at you. Look at modern slave carrying briefcase, saying you are a multi-billionaire abroad.
That's how much we have time. That time has permitted us to take on the program this morning. Press Talk returns tomorrow at 9 a.m. So please keep a date. But before you do that, take time to like, subscribe to Television Nigerian. And is there any of our comments or any of the issues that we treated today that you think you have something to contribute to? Always drop it on our comment section and be assured we will let your voice be heard. We'll do this again tomorrow. Hopefully we are going to see you again. I remain Charles Ibe and it has been Daniel Atai. Now do have yourself a lovely Tuesday. See you again.